If it feels so good, it surely can't be that bad. That's liberalism. When you indulge the passions, you're actually not free at all.
A lot of times we don't think to look at the companies that are also pushing agendas that are anti-God, anti-life, anti-family.
Gay sex orgies, AI furry porn, video games, obesity, laziness, the lesbian dance theory. You will eventually kill for the addictions that you have identified yourself with for decades. Absolutely disgusting video goes viral of a No Kings protester saying they are, quote, glad that Charlie is dead. This is exactly what we talk about with the pervasive culture of death invading our neighborhoods and public square. And it won't relent unless we stand up. I'm going to share my thoughts on this new manifestation of progressive ideology. And then Sarah Gabel Siefert, the founder and CEO of Every Life Diaper Company, joins me today on the show to discuss how we can tangibly build a culture of life and good news from the front lines of the culture war, where the left kills, steals, and destroys. The right, okay, conservatives, by and large, continue building. Did you know that your favorite... Well, maybe they're not your favorite anymore. They certainly shouldn't be. But your quote-unquote most famous, maybe favorite diaper companies are pro-abortion. Listen, I'm not calling everyone to be an on-the-street activist, but I'm calling us, to put our beliefs into action and build a culture of life where God has put you. We get into all of this today, but give us a rating and review. Let us know what you think. It really means so much to me, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're a recent or newer listener to the Seth Gruber Show, as you're listening to my dulcet tones, please open your iTunes Purple Podcast app on an iPhone. Go to the Seth Gruber Show, hit subscribe, hit the 5 stars, and write in a short little review. Your thoughts, a question, something you like. Let us know. It drives the show up the charts. I appreciate it so much. Follow us on Rumble. We're so grateful to have this show on YouTube and expanding, especially the viewers of the next generation that are engaging with what we talk about here. But YouTube's come for us before. They may come for us again. When you go subscribe at Rumble, you protect the show and allow us to continue reaching the people that need to wake up and the people that need to be emboldened and encouraged to stand. And then join us at the White Rose Resistance. We are, let's see, just 3 years, just a little over 3 years old since the White Rose Resistance launched. We have resistance chapters around the country mobilizing the local church against evil and baby killing to get the church to wake up. We've shut down abortion mills, okay? The church is waking up. Everything is local now. That's what we're going to talk about today, too. Everything is local, and we need your help. So go to thewhiterose.life, thewhiterose.life, and join us. If you can join as an ally, that's $35 a month. That means the world to us. You get a battle box in the mail, log in with your donor login on the White Rose app, where you can connect with us. You can take any number of curriculum and courses and training and live calls. And then at air support level, which is $70 a month, you get the Books in the Barracks book club. We read books together about every other month, give you time to finish it, and we talk about it live on Zoom and hang out. It's really wonderful. So we need your help. If you want to launch a volunteer resistance chapter in your city, if you want to get involved as a full-time coordinator and put in your request to launch a resistance chapter in your city, let us know. Everything is at thewhiterose.life. Let's get into it. This is the Seth Gruber Show. So, guys, I have been on the road a lot. I mean, the amount of people that have asked me to talk about Charlie on shows, on their events, has been both difficult and healing. But one of the first observations and points I made, which I think needs to be repeated ad nauseum until people get it, okay, is that they did not murder Charlie because he was a good communicator although he was. They murdered him because he was a threat to evil, because he represented something ancient. He represented, embodied, and was able to articulate what so many Americans believe, what so many Christian patriots believe. And he did it with an eloquence and a persuasion in an age of idolatry and insanity. But unfortunately, it seems that his murder and martyrdom has broken something in our polity that I am sort of already seeing is going to almost be this like spirit of the age release for more violence. I think when someone like Charlie just gets murdered in broad daylight like that, I think that there are those who, in the depravity of their thinking and darkness of soul and mind, kind of respond by going, oh, cool, so we can just kill fascists now? Of course, that's what they call literally any Christian who has any opinions that are slightly right of what? I don't know, like the Libertarian Party. I think it almost broke something in the left where it's like, okay, well, let's just murder more conservatives. Like, let's just do that. And then today, right before I got into the studio, my team said, we want to just play you this video. And my producer said, I'm just going to play it. And we usually don't do this because I like to know what's in the show beforehand. But we're going to play this clip for you. I'm just going to, I kind of have a sense of what is really bad in this video, but I have not watched it yet. Let's see if unfortunately we have been vindicated in our predictions and what's going on. Let's play this clip.
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would
so
you be
sorry.
glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died.
Well, there you go. That lady at the end, by the way, why could I have told you what they'd be wearing? One gal is wearing like a rainbow technique colored flower shirt, like she's still living her flower child days. And the other one is like a butch feminist with hair shorter than my 7-year-old son. It's like, why do they have to meet all of the stereotypes of boomer leftists who are still pissed off at everything? Anyways, isn't that exactly right, though? I mean, do you understand that those who celebrate murdering babies so they can have orgasms without responsibility will not hesitate to celebrate murdering those who are a threat to their decadent orgasmic lifestyle? Like, do you understand this? Like, the patristics understood this. The church fathers understood this, that lust darkens the mind, that passion freed from all restraint quickly degenerates into passion of a bloodier sort, that passion, when fully grown, gives birth to death. I mean, that's James 1:15. That's the New Testament, okay? Like, our forefathers understood this, okay? Passion just released. You follow wherever passion takes you. If it feels good, do it. There's no guardrails. There's no moral boundaries for our life. There's no sexual mores. I'm my own God. If it feels good, it surely can't be bad. I mean, that's like, is that not like liberalism in a cute little box tied up in a bow, by the way? If it feels so good, it surely can't be that bad. That's liberalism. Okay. That's laissez-faire, French Revolution, sexual attitudes. Like, when you live like that, when you indulge the passions, you actually are not liberated. You're actually not free at all. Like you're actually like the most enslaved. Like think of like any addict that you know that's in your life, like an aunt, an uncle, a mom, a dad, a grandma, grandpa, a cousin, a stepdad, a stepmother, any friend who's an addict. You could probably, all of us could think of someone in our life. Do you think of them as free individuals? Do you think of them as really free? Because I mean, if they're free, surely they're a master of their own destinies, their own desires, right? Their own attitudes. No, of course not. Of course not. It's always the addict that is the most enslaved. It's always the addict that puts their own self-interests, their own indulgences before anyone and everything else. It's always the addict in the throes of pleasure that you cannot rely on. They're not a man or woman of their word. Okay, that's like, that's a truism. Okay, that's axiomatic. When you give yourself over to feeding the belly, right? What C.S. Lewis talked, like that's the animal side, right? What's supposed to happen is the head, the intellect, rules the belly, the appetite through the chest, honor, virtue, morality. So men without chests is that the head, the intellect, rules the belly, the appetite directly with nothing to balance it or temper it, right? So when your intellect, man's rationality, can rule over or give reasons to justify animalistic stomach urges, turns out we're really good at providing justifications to do whatever feels good and whatever we want. Right now, give it to me right now. Okay, so that's men without chests. Those people are the most enslaved. And the more that they return to that dark hand that feeds their desires, their orgasms, their appetites, their pleasures, their AI, video games, and porn, the more difficult it is to truly be free. The more in throes to addiction and darkness that you become, the more difficult it is to disentangle yourself from that darkness. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, I am talking about Gollum. My precious, right? No, think about it. Seriously. Okay. Not just trying to get another Lord of the Rings reference in there, but think about it. Gollum is the manifestation of passion and addiction taken to the nth degree. So enslaved to this representation of pleasure, of power, okay, that his entire personality and appearance changes. The ring, the precious, which kind of in Middle Earth legendarium is this representation of power, and whoever wields it not only has specific powers they can manifest and utilize, but actually increases in their power culturally. Okay. And all people are drawn to it. Everyone wants a piece of it. And it makes the user think that they're a lot more powerful in their own eyes, which often sets themselves up for self-destruction. Okay, are you starting to see analogies here? Gollum, for decades, is so addicted to, cannot be separated from this manifestation of power and pleasure that his entire appearance and personality and eventually name changes. And when it is taken from him, Gollum will go to the ends of the earth to get it back, even if it means murder, to get back the precious that will once again give him that comfort, that confidence, that self-assurance, that pleasure, and that power. You could replace most of the modern idols of the secular modern age with the ring of power, and it would be a totally adequate comparison. Passion, freed from all restraint, always degenerates into passion of a bloodier sort. You will eventually kill for the addictions that you have identified yourself with for decades. Like, it will actually eventually turn bloody. And we see that with the trans murderers, right? By the way, we had a tweet. Maybe we can actually throw it up on the show. We had a tweet on my ex. Do you still call them tweets? I think so. Of some of the many recent mass shooters or school shooters who were almost all trans, non-binary, bisexual, trans. Okay, like, and why is that, by the way? Because when you can reject, mock, discredit the image of God in yourself, it becomes much easier to justify rejecting, mocking, and attacking the image of God in others. If you believe that you can recreate yourself in your own image, so like male genitals, male chromosomes, all of that, it doesn't matter. You can actually, like, Bruce Jenner is now Caitlyn Jenner. Like, if that is the case, and man can recreate the physical substance of the physical world that leads to metaphysical changes that the left wants you and to be forced to admit are real, that he is actually she, that you cannot misgender someone. Like, if we can actually recreate it ourselves in our own image, then it's much easier to recreate others in our own image as well. What did C.S. Lewis say? The power of man to make himself what he pleases means, as we have always seen, the power of some men to make other men what they please. Wow. That's what he was saying. That's what I mean, actually. Okay. It's not a coincidence that the most vociferous and loudest cheerleaders of Charlie's assassination and martyrdom are those who look a little bit like Gollum. It's not a coincidence that the most vociferous defenders and celebrators of Charlie's murder had hair that looked like Joseph's Technicolor coat of colors. Like I watched horrifically in shock, maybe not in shock, but in horror, at the TikTok and social media videos of people within 1 to 12 hours celebrating Charlie's martyrdom and assassination on social media. They were saying, "We got him." That's what they were saying. They were saying we want to be identified in the we. They're saying, like, we want some of the shine, some of the glory, some of the credit. That's what they were saying, right? They weren't saying, "Hey, someone murdered Charlie. Good for him." The language, almost without exception, on these cesspools online were, "We got him. We did it." Those people, by and large, were gender bending, technicolored, obese. They look like Gollum. Those in the throes of passion and feeding their most base animalistic appetites, who believe that continuing in their addictions of pleasure and power and porn is freedom and liberation, will do almost anything to protect their inverted and perverted definition of freedom. And if you threaten that, well, we might just kill you too. If abortion is healthcare, if abortion is freedom, remember, what did the people do? What did they chant when they interrupted church services right after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, dressed in the stupid Handmaid's Tale outfits? "Oh, I'm so oppressed because now if I go sleep and bang people all around, I might have to take responsibility for my sexual choices like a baby. I'm so oppressed." They were chanting, without this basic right, women can't be free. Abortion on demand and without apology. That's what they said. Without this basic right, women can't be free. You're not free if you can't kill your children. That's what they were saying. So if we want to pass laws that criminalizes the killing of unborn babies, we become the threat to freedom. So they now can picture themselves as little revolutionary 1776 forebearers, believing they're actually safeguarding freedom. But their definition of freedom is not freedom. Of course, it's enslavement. It's all been redefined. But that doesn't change how they see the world. They still believe you and me are the threat to freedom, the threat to liberty, and the threat to, what do they like to say? Our democracy. Our democracy is endangered, right? Because what? You can't trans a kid as easily. You can't slaughter a baby as easily. So the right, anyone slightly right of Mitt Romney, not even probably, becomes the threat to freedom. We become, quote unquote, the fascists, and they're justified in removing us, in murdering us too. Did you know there was a poll that showed that 40% of Americans, 15% of Americans, which translates to about 40 million people, that 15% of Americans said that America is better off now that Charlie's been murdered. That is 40 million people, which would be the largest standing army in human history, who, like this flower child boomer in that video, are just as happy and just as ready to celebrate your murder and assassination for believing the same things Charlie did as well. Are you awake? Do you understand what time it is? But of course, these are not the people who build. These are the people who tear down. It's an interesting observation, by the way, about like laissez-faire, French Revolutionary type sexual activists and politicians. I'm just really talking about this, secular, sexual, moral progressivism. Okay. That they don't really build much. Now, what they can do is infiltrate, and they can pervert things that have already been created. But by and large, the radical left they're not necessarily great builders historically of cultures, of societies, of civilizations, of things that endure. And part of the reason for that, by the way, is it's just like that's not how God's world and order operates. We talked about this on a recent episode, looking at J.D. Unwin's observations in his 1934 book, Sex and Culture. Fascinating observations, by the way, studying 86 civilizations over a 5,000-year period, and found a 100% correlation between prenuptial chastity and sexual monogamy and cultural advancement, the most energetic cultures. But also a 100% correlation between sexual freedom enshrined in the law and the eventual decline and collapse of that civilization. And once a civilization adopts full-blown sexual freedom, it's usually taken over by a society with greater social energy within 3 generations. And he defines a generation in about 30 to 33-year increments. So that was just historical observation, that when you go full-blown sexual liberation, sexual freedom, no guardrails, no boundaries, no laws against certain sexual acts or quote-unquote arrangements, that you, J.D. Unwin makes the point in his book, you actually descend to an inert, dead level of conception, and those societies have displayed the least cultural, economic, architectural, artistic, financial energy. They don't build anything. They don't provide anything. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. Stephen Miller, in his talk at the Charlie Memorial, said, "You build nothing. You are nothing. You are enemy. You are hatred. You are jealousy. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who lift up humanity." And people thought that wasn't very Christ-like. It was a mean way to describe people. But that observation is obviously true. Think of all the sexually liberated leftist activists. Most of them don't even have children. If they get pregnant, they kill their babies. If they don't kill their babies, they trans the kids. If they don't trans their kids, they create bitter, angry kids who end up being gender confused. Think of every kid of almost every Hollywood starlet. You don't build anything. You pervert, you infiltrate what good people have built. We have to get back to building. If you don't want a society that cheers for and celebrates the murder and assassination of influential or effective conservative thinkers, activists, and writers like Charlie, builders, if you don't want more women in that that video saying, yeah, you should die too, I'd celebrate you dying too. That's a good thing. And her little butch, bald feminist friend giggles. That's so funny. If you want to actually do something about the 40 million people chomping at the bit to get front row seats to the next assassination and martyrdom of any Christian who actually is a threat to evil, then you need to build things as well. We have to build things as well. You have an idea, go build a company. You see a gap in the marketplace, you see a monopoly of leftist, Marxists, anti-family, pro-abortion companies monopolizing one industry, go build an alternative and be honest with your values from the get-go. Build, baby. We have to stop complaining and whining about evil and actually do something about it. And that's the answer a lot of people don't want to hear, because that's the long game. That's the long game we have to play to take back Western civilization. But all of it begins locally, with the local church, local families who care, and then they go do something about it. Shocker. That's why we're so excited on the second half of today's show to have the CEO and founder of Every Life Diaper Company, Sarah Gabel Siefert, on the show. Sarah Gabel Siefert and her husband, Michael Siefert, are dear friends of Olivia and I, and they are the builders. They actually build. They lift up humanity. They inspire others to do the same. We're so happy to have Every Life Diaper Company as a sponsor of this show. Go to everylife.com, promo code Seth10, Seth10 for 10% off your first order. They are America's pro-life diaper company, and they're, I believe, Sarah Gabel is going to speak to this, the fastest growing diaper company in America. And they are honest about being pro-America, pro-freedom, pro-life. If you want to solve this problem of not enough builders, the first step you have to take is to actually shop in alignment with your values. Go to everylife.com, promo code Seth10, Seth10 for 10% off your first order. Let them know that we sent you. Now, enjoy this incredible conversation with our friend, the CEO and founder of Every Life Diaper Company, Sarah Gabel Siefert. Sarah Gabel Siefert, the one, the only, CEO, founder of Every Life Diaper Company, our primary sponsor of the Seth Gruber Show, and for some time. Welcome back to the show, friend.
Thank you for having me. We're so thankful that we've been able to partner with you pretty much since day one.
I know. I really love it. And, I'm always one of the jokes that probably kills the most when I speak, and what the audience loves the most is when I just say, like, listen, the other side is either is vaccinating, transing, and aborting themselves into extinction. You shouldn't celebrate anytime any child's rights are harmed or abused. But if they're going to do this, you might as well outbreed them. And it's time for us Christians to start spitting out a bunch of babies, do it God's way, make sure you get married first, raise little dragon slayers, to tear down evil, raise little Christian nationalists just running around making Pete Buttigieg and AOC and Bernie Sanders urinate in their pants, because it's either going to be a theocracy of leftism or a theocracy of Christianity. So go find someone, make sure they're the opposite gender, and start spitting out babies. And I think, like, post 2020, post all this insanity, post Roe v. Wade, that resonates with people a lot more than it used to, of like, oh yeah, what if we just got back to basics? And so that's why I love Every Life Diaper Company. Sarah Gabel, it's been so long since you've been on. I think I'm a pretty good salesman, but it's always good to continue battering home the most powerful points. Why did you launch this amazing company?
Great question. Thanks again for having me. We started Every Life with a very simple, but I think profound mission. We believe every child is a gift from God, deserving of love, protection, and celebration. And I know your audience is going to agree with that 100%. If you don't, you should, because life is precious. And we believe that at Every Life. At our very, very core, we provide high-performing premium products for every miraculous life: our diapers, our wipes, our training pants, our bath and body line. And now we actually have a feminine care line, which we'll talk about in a moment. But we exist because we know that there's a need for a pro-life diaper company. The fact that every single major diaper company on the market today, Seth, is supporting abortion makes absolutely no sense. Huggies matching employee contributions to Planned Parenthood, Pampers paying for medical coverage for their employees to go abort their babies, Coterie saying that they feel lost without abortion care after Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Is that what they said? They felt
Yes,
lost.
they feel lost without abortion care. You have Honest Company, again, that's paying for their employees to go travel and abort their babies. Same for Hello Bello. The list goes on and on. And I could not sit on the sidelines and be okay with this. My husband and I are so passionate about making sure that every single dollar goes to a pro-life, pro-family, pro-freedom business. And I was not about to, as I'm pregnant with my first, and now we have a second, put my money towards a baby brand that was not going to stand for my own child's life. So we started Every Life. We're only a little over 2 years old. And now we're the fastest growing diaper company in America today. Thanks to you and all the support you've given and many others. But I want to just end with saying this, and I know we're going to talk a lot more, but we aren't just a diapers company, right, Seth? We are so much more than that. We are about shifting culture. We are about standing for every miraculous life, and we're creating a movement of parents that truly are passionate about making sure that they're putting purpose behind their purchase, because our dollars do matter. It matters where you're spending your money. And so I'm really thankful that we're making an impact. We're celebrating life. We're celebrating motherhood, and we're really at it in this culture war alongside you. And I'm so thankful for that.
Well, yeah, you and your husband are quite the power match and couple. You guys, I actually met Michael and Sarah Gabel Siefert before they were so sought after by every conservative, such a big freaking deal that they are now. And I want to tell you, they have been people of integrity, of ethics, of values. It's one of the most incredible couples that my wife and I have met, who actually live out the things that they say. These aren't just talking points for them. And so that I'm very selective of, like, even the people that want to even do a one slot advertise on this, because I want to make sure that we're actually aligned with the things I believe in. And so we use Every Life Diaper Company. We use the Public Square app, which of course was launched by your husband, Sarah Gabel. You mentioned, so I mean, believe it or not, I'm not into fem care. I think Pete Buttigieg is, and probably most of the Democrat Party. But anyways, you just mentioned that. Tell us more about that, because it seems like the Siefert family is just starting to defund anyone who goes full woke mind virus, and I'm here for it all.
I love it. Well, hey, look, if there's a hole in the market, we want to fill it. And I think that God calls us into all different places. And a lot of times the things that frustrate us are the things that he's trying to show us. So that way we can be obedient to his leading and guiding and step into new places and take on new projects. And this was one of them. One of our most requested items from our consumers at Every Life using our baby brand was fem care products. Many of the moms are saying, hey, can you help us with postpartum care? Because we really can't find a quality brand. And we also can't find one that not only has the clean premium ingredients that we can trust and feel good using, but also you have all of these major fem care brands that are not standing for women. It's the same problem in the baby industry. You would think that these, Tampax is out there saying that not all women menstruate. They're using gender neutral terminology. They're essentially erasing womanhood. And it's not just them, it's Cora, it's all these brands that are out there. And it's heartbreaking, because when you sit on the sidelines and you start to look at this, you think, the way God so uniquely designed man and woman from the very beginning of time in the Garden of Eden is so precious and so unique. And it's under attack, and you can see it all over the place. I think a lot of times we don't think to look at the companies that are also pushing agendas that are anti-God, anti-life, anti-family, anti-woman and man. And it's so clear in God's word that there's man and woman. We want to celebrate that design. So that's why we really launched Every Life Women with this passion to provide these incredible products. We have tampons, we have pads, we have period underwear, but really, again, more than that, we are standing for women and celebrating the way God made her, with intentionality, with hope, with strength, with dignity. So that way, when she purchases our product, she can know with a blessed assurance that we stand for her life. We celebrate her cycle. We celebrate that unique moment when you become a woman and you get to step into being a woman of God. We want to help launch her into that season and then be there for her beyond that when she steps into motherhood and beyond. And so what a great privilege it is that we are now reaching more people with Every Life. We're not just a baby brand. We are now becoming a family brand. And this is a step forward in that direction. And I'm really, really excited about making this impact, this splash. We just launched this month, and we are already seeing testimony after testimony after testimony of women saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have been looking and searching for a premium product to feel confident putting on my body, but also one that actually speaks to me, because these femcare brands are not speaking to women. They're trying to erase womanhood.
Did any of those those brands like go full Dylan Mulvaney, Sarah Gabel?
Oh yeah, many of them did. Many of them support abortion as well, the LGBTQ community, and they're very vocal about it. I mean, I would encourage all of your listeners, go take a look on their websites, go look at their social media pages. It's alarming, it's frightening, and they're not celebrating the family unit, the nuclear family that actually is a thing that builds a strong nation. Strong families build a strong nation, and they're literally trying to destroy our society and the communities, and they're not speaking to their customers. So I hope people wake up, Seth. That's my prayer. We can't be complacent. And I think that for a long time, we've been sitting back and letting things happen and not letting it really hit the heartstrings. My hope is that people begin to make that connection. There's 18 inches from the head to the heart. And I'm starting to see more Christians and conservatives allowing things to sink into their hearts and actually do something about it, because we cannot just sit and complain, right? We have to put action behind our frustrations and the concerns that we see in our society. And that's what we're trying to do at Every Life every single day.
Guys, it's time to stop sitting on the sidelines. Isn't there a new excitement to fight? Well, this American revival that we're experiencing needs your unapologetic voice. There's power in numbers. Mark your calendar to join us for our second annual Life or Death Con. Like short for conference. Okay, it sounds cool. Life or Death Con in Washington, D.C. on January 22nd, 2026. It's a one-day charge to awaken, equip, and send out believers who are ready to make a real difference in our culture. No more complaining. No more watching from a distance while the battle rages around you. The tide is turning, and your voice, your courage, and your leadership are essential to whatever's coming next in this American republic. We are bringing out the boldest Christian leaders to lead you into the culture war with wisdom and clarity. That's the balance, wisdom and clarity. Steve Dace, Megan Basham, Abby Johnson, Dr. George Grant, Nolene Cedra, AJ Hurley, and more. Then the very next day, march shoulder to shoulder with us at the White Rose Resistance at the March for Life in Washington, D.C. on January 23rd. So get your ticket for Life or Death Con at lifeordeathcon.com, lifeordeathcon.com, and use code SETH, S-E-T-H, my first name, for 20% off your ticket. I'll see you in Washington, D.C. on January 22nd. It's very true. So many people are bench warming activists, and they love to yell at Fox News or CNN, and they love to kind of whine and moan and complain about the evil that they see. But very few people actually go and say, well, therefore we're going to build alternatives. I was struck by, I talked about this a couple times already on the show because I found it so profound. But I don't know. Did you make Charlie's memorial, Sarah Gabel?
we weren't able to make it. We just had welcomed in our second daughter.
That's
so.
right. Yeah. I was texting with Michael. I know that Public Square was in the middle of a huge launch, but I didn't know if you had made it. Yeah. So Stephen Miller, that was fascinating. And a lot of toxic empathy Christians were very didn't like it, but because he was like, he said, you are nothing. You have nothing. You are wickedness. You are jealousy. You are envy. You are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. Speaking about the radical left, we are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. But it struck me as wow, but isn't that so true? The forces of evil that we're dealing with that are targeting the family, the unborn, children's innocence, women, biological reality, parenthood, parental rights, marriage, okay, you name it. They actually don't build anything. They're into gay sex orgies. They're into AI furry porn. They're into video games. They're into obesity. They're into laziness. They're into lesbian dance theory. The forces against us, they actually aren't really built. Now, they're good at inciting mobs. They're good at feeding anger, but they don't actually build much. And that's why I love everything about what Every Life is doing, what Public Square is doing. The Sieferts are builders. Your team are builders. You're lifting up humanity. You're producing. And now you're actually praying for people to have more babies and encouraging them to actually have more babies. Let's outbreed them, Sarah Gabel. Tell us about this thing that we were involved with in praying for more babies.
Well, first of all, thank you for being a part of Praying for More Babies, because we have already seen, we had over 7,700 couples at the beginning of this year. We only opened up a time frame for 30 days for people to let us know that they want prayer to have more children. Maybe they're struggling with infertility, and many of these families, man, I'm telling you, the stories that have come in, we've already seen 1,000 people tell us, over 1,000 people, that they have had a successful pregnancy, or they are pregnant, they're about to have their child very soon, or they have had a successful adoption through these prayers. But the fact that we had so many people submit a request for this in over 58 different countries too, was quite phenomenal. And it just goes to show the power of prayer, that prayer is the solution. And I think one of the things, as you were talking, is I was thinking about the fact that while there's so much evil, there's so much corruption, there's so much sadness, depression, anxiety, especially in the next generation, we are seeing revival. I think you mentioned the Charlie Kirk memorial and the sadness and the grief. I know that we felt as a family. We knew him personally, and it's been a difficult season, grieving along millions of others, that have processed this death. And because of that, we're seeing more people go to church. I believe that the Bible sales are up 41% right now. We have Bible apps that are now up to almost 80% in downloads. I mean, it's amazing to see what's coming, and it shows that we're going back right to the basics of how this country was really founded, which was on biblical truths and beliefs. And so that's really what we said with Praying for More Babies. Let's just go back to the basics, right? Let's go back to where our country was actually founded upon, which was godly principles. And let's pray for this issue around so many couples. 1 in 6 couples are struggling with infertility right now globally. And we want to lift them up in prayer. We want to believe that God is going to do what only He can. And it's working. And we're seeing, again, story after story. And Seth, I cannot tell you how many people have told us, we are so thankful that we get to come to Every Life to not just, use your products, but you also want to pray for our family. We've never seen anything like it. And I think that's what, again, that's why I'm not trying to say, oh, look at us, but it is just to say, this is about God. This is why we started this company, was to honor Him, was to say yes to Him, was to follow His leading. And that's what this year looked like, was a year of prayer. And we want to continue that. We want to continue to be a company that is grounded and founded upon prayer. And I pray, Seth, that our entire nation begins to go back to that, because prayer is the solution. It is the way. We have to have God back in our country, or we're not going to see this chaos dissipate. We need God at the center.
Yeah. Amen. When, let's see, is Every Life turning 3 years old next year? Remind me.
Yeah, next year in July, we'll be 3 years old.
Wow. That's huge. That's so exciting, Sarah Gabel. How have you been trashing other companies? I heard that one diaper company, weren't they getting bought out or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, we are the fastest growing diaper company in America today, which I'm so thankful for. We've been able to see that our competitors have noticed us. They see us on the market, and they're starting, I believe, to realize that, leading with your values is really powerful, and it actually speaks to consumers. And when you start to be so adamant against so many consumers' beliefs, you're going to lose their service. You're going to lose their money. And I'm thankful that we're really coming strong against some of these strongholds in the baby industry, and people are watching and they're looking. And I've seen a few brands kind of back off a little bit since we've been so forward in our pro-life stances. We are unapologetically for life. And not only that, Seth, we've had the opportunity to give out over 7.4 million diapers to pregnancy centers and families, right, that are in urgent need of these supplies, ones that have chosen life for their babies. And these pregnancy centers, these nonprofits, they're on the front line, right? They are literally saving lives every single day. I've had the honor of directing one in San Clemente for a little bit, where I got to meet you, and I got to sit with these girls that were considering abortion and hear their stories. And yes, they need truth. Yes, they need options. Yes, they need to understand that there is a life in their womb. The ultrasound is so powerful. But I have to tell you, Seth, when I talk to these women and they start to realize that these pregnancy centers also want to help them with free supplies like diapers and wipes, I've seen a light bulb go off. Like, oh, wait, I can actually do this, because not only do I have emotional support, I have practical support. I have the products that I need to be set up for success, to be able to welcome this life into the world. I am not alone anymore. So a box of diapers can be the difference, I believe, between life or death for that unborn baby. And so I'm just so thankful that we're able to help these moms, help these dads with the essentials they need. And over 7.4 million, those are just numbers. Those are families. Those are people that are receiving these products with Bible verses on them, may I add. So that way they can be touched by Jesus as they're opening up these wipes, and be reminded that the life in front of them is a gift, that it's not a burden. It's not an inconvenience. It's not something that's going to take away your joys, your dreams, your desires. It actually is the very thing that unlocks joy. It unlocks legacy. It unlocks beauty and blessing. I know you would agree with me, Seth, that you're a better, stronger, wiser person after becoming a dad. I feel that way after being a mom. It changes your whole perspective in the best way. It's the reason why I get up and do what I do every single day, because I want to see a better world for my own daughters. I do. And I believe that as we're fighting and as we're speaking against these lies that the enemy is spilling to young people, that children are not a blessing, we're going to start to see a change. And I'm really inspired and I'm encouraged by the work that we're doing. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going forward with this strong, unapologetic message, and hope and pray that more lives get touched.
Yeah, put up a procreative, monogamous, heterosexual Christian couple who will die for their posterity with a non-procreative sex cult leftists who can only die for pleasure. They lose every time. And that's a no-brainer. This is how we build. Back to basics. Build back better, I guess. Sarah Gabel, I guess build back better. Well, thank you, Sarah Gabel, for joining the show today. We love having Every Life as a partner. Everylife.com, promo code Seth10, Seth10 for 10% off your order. And tell them about the subscriptions, too. Just get it delivered to the house. We love that. We don't have to make like emergency runs to Walmart or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. The convenience of having the diapers, the wipes, the bundles, training pants, any of our products on our website, FemCare as well, shipped right to your doorstep. You can edit, change, modify your order at any point via text. I know as a busy mom, it's very, very helpful to have that access, and I never have to worry about those late minute runs to the store. They're going to come straight to my door every single month. So definitely jump in. The Changing Lives Club is powerful. When you become a subscriber, you're saving, but really more than that, again, you're actually helping us change more lives. On the third month, you actually get to choose a church or a pregnancy center that you want to send a free box of diapers to in order to make more of an impact and change more lives with us. We like to say we're not just changing diapers, we're truly changing lives, and our supporters and our consumers help us do that every single day. So if you're a mom, if you're a dad out there, I hope and pray that you consider jumping over because you won't regret it. It's a great product and a powerful message we're trying to send to the world.
Leave your baby murdering woke diaper company that's funding and celebrating abortion and go to everylife.com. Sarah Gabel, will you be in DC this year with your team?
Absolutely. We're excited to be there. We're excited to see you and excited to march. You know, it's an important time to get activated, to stand up. And I think the more people that show up to these events, it might not feel like, should I go? Should I not? Maybe you have people listening that are considering going. I would say go. Bring your whole family. It's a family affair. And I think the more people that, you know, show up to these things, it really does begin to speak to the other side. Like, oh, wait, there actually is an army of pro-life, pro-family people out there that are unapologetic, that are unafraid to get out there in the freezing cold and march and go to these events to be able to fight for God's most precious children. So I hope to see you and the whole team and many, many fighters for life there, because these events matter. And we all get blessed, you know, being there together, being encouraged. We're not alone in this fight. We got a lot of people that are out there standing up and putting in a good fight. So I'm thankful for that.
Amen. Yeah. Going to DC, it's a collective sort of heart lift. And if you guys want to meet the one and only Sarah Gabel Siefert and her team, come on out to Washington, DC for the march. Come to Life or Death Con the day before, and maybe you'll get lucky and meet Sarah Gabel. Thank you, Sarah Gabel, for coming back on the show. Thanks for all that you do. We'll continue to pray for you. And let's go defund every woke diaper company. And why not just make you a millionaire in the short term? I love watching my friends do valuable things and be able to provide for their family and their grandchildren by defunding woke leftists. I think that's a win-win. And we're here to champion you the whole way. So say hi to the family and thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Good to be here.
Thanks.